Theoretically, an even much more paranoid conspiratorial phone call. Interview. The Actor. Part 5. Hi, my name is Jorge Villacorta. I have participated as an actor in this movie theoretically. Even much more paranoid conspiratorial phone call. This is part 5 in our interview. And I was mentioning that once I met some foreign students, and due to the fact that my own upbringing demands me to control myself, I noticed that these students were kind of had animalistic traits, from my perspective, naturally. But this means that how do you reconstruct, how do you experience the stimulus that a particular environment will provide to you? Because if you are working in this movie with characters who has been raised in a hypothetical Soviet Union, how they would be. We have to extrapolate the information we have from the past into the future. Well, but one way would be, for example, in addition to reading books, reading literary works, watching other paintings, one way would be, for example, to interview people who live in a socialist country. You know that Germany was divided in a republic and a democracy. The democracy was the socialist one, and in that country, many people would join the Communist Party in a common basis. It would be normal. It would be the current way of making things, because belonging to the party was normalized. And when you interview people who have lived in democratic Germany, you understand that your own perception has been conditioned by the propaganda developed in your own side. So, you can make a movie for an audience that only has consumed propaganda, your propaganda, the propaganda developing your side, by your side. But you are not really approaching the real feeling. Yeah, we are in my prior discourse, I just explained that there is no realism but several of them. But it is obvious that depending on the people with whom you are working, you may want to approach the things as they were. If you want real people at the other side, you look at the Soviet people as real people, or the people who live in a socialist country may have a different social training. So this demonization is not a real one. I mean, the demonization exists, but the other people don't become demons because you are describing like them. They continue being people, and they live according to their own social environment. So one way to study that would be, in addition to reading books, appreciating the art of the time, you can interview people who live under socialist countries to understand how everyday life was there. But naturally, you also need a viewpoint when you are interviewing people. What other things you can do? If you read, for example, a book, you will notice that it is interesting because sometimes the pieces from the past are just contextualized. So you get a piece, I mean, for example, a book, a Soviet book, a book printed in the Soviet Union, and it is a beautiful book, hard covered, delicious paper, paper, a paper wrap, marvelous in the design, so simple, so elegant, and so standardized. Amazing. I would. There are books on social subjects that I admire very much because they are so lovely designed, so simply and lovely designed, and it's admirable. But later you talk to people who live at the time, and you know that there were specialized libraries, bookshops, bookstores where you could buy the book, but the book was expensive. Now, if you now you want to read the books, and you go to the places where you can find second-hand books, and these are the cheapest books because nobody is paying attention to them, and you begin to collect them, and later you find out that they were expensive ones, but now that there isn't a demand for them, the price is very low. So the object from the past doesn't describe the whole situation, and you have to study a bit more if you want to understand that. And I just already stated that you don't need to know all that to be a good actor, but it helps you a lot if you want to discover a bit more about the subtleties of the time, and not make and avoid making pure propaganda, which you may be supported to make propaganda. But if you learn a bit more, you can see things from a different perspective. And what happens is that the past flows into the present and continues into the future. And sometimes the object doesn't describe completely. Well, it's just a clue to begin to understand the past. Well, this is just an aspect of all the thinking that is behind this movie theoretically, and even much more paranoid conspiratory from code. Therefore, I don't want to take more of your time. I thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that these explanations allow you to have a better perspective on this movie that I enjoy participating in its production. I want to thank the Leonida Segarra Museum because they were the producers of this movie, and that's it. Thank you very much. This was Jorge Villacorta, an actor in theoretically a paranoid, and even much more paranoid conspiratory phone call movie that I recommend that you watch at least 3 times. Thank you very much. See you.